Hello guys, let's talk about Dota or Conquest today, right? And this is probably the sole biggest reason why most MOBA studios are actually outdated. They only care about Dota or Conquest players, right? Even though the genre is literally called multiplayer online battle arena, right? The origins of this genre are countless of custom-made community maps back in Warcraft 3 and Starcraft 3 era, right? Dota 2 is just a copy of Dota All-Star custom maps, and there are countless and countless of custom-made maps made for players. And it's just basically a fight of character on fun maps, right, with fun levels, people trying to experiment with different levels, with different map variety, right? There is so much depth to this, right? But, you know, lately, you know, most MOBA studios, you know, I don't know, because of the simplicity sake or because they're afraid of dividing the community, right? They only make one map, right? And now this is where we come to, you know, Dota or League of Legends or Defense of the Ancients is actually the original name of Dota, right? And it's just basically a 3-lane thing, right? And you know, this is how League of Legends and Dota 2, you know, how they do it, right? But I think it's about time that we actually start realizing that even Conquest or Dota is not perfect, right? And if you wanna have a popular game, you have to cater to your whole player base, right? And this is the big mistake a lot of these studios do. They remove fun maps like 3 vs 3, domination, arena, right? Or they simply don't give them ranked functionality. So even though they are the most very popular, you can't really take them seriously, even if you want to, because they don't have ranked leaderboard and reward, something every competitive player is striving forward to. And even bigger issue is when you start forcing players into Conquest, right? And when you ignore everybody else, right? We have something called Arena in Smite, right? Arena would be easily the most popular game mode in Smite if we actually had rank functionality, right? And current Arena map, right, is totally outdated, right? That's also current Arena map. It's like 5 years old, right? And we still don't have ranked leaderboard and rewards. Some teams players have been asking for last 7 years, right? Because most MOBA studios don't realize that arena or similar maps, right, are a big open niche, right? Because most MOBA studio only care about Conquest Dota players, other maps with, you know, arena or, you know, like domination, you know, arena style maps with objectives, right? Like New World has, right? And it's also designed in a different way, right? Most Conquest Dota is designed around snowballing, right? XP and level advantage means so much, right? So people just abuse, you know, snowballing, a number advantage, and they abuse current meta items to get ahead. And then once they're ahead, you know, levels just carry them. I think this is a really good move on a Smite, Smite Conquest, right? We get new Conquest map like every season, right? But we still have 6-year-old arena map, right? They could get so much more players. But lately they actually introduced some anti-snowball changes, which is actually, I think, very healthy for the game. So people stop relying on the number advantage every game and gods that are stronger to win their games, because once you get 2 or 3 level advantage, enemy has no chance to come back. You're gonna just snowball and snowball, right? And a lot of items are not viable anymore, and so on and so on. I also suggest watching the King's Avatar animation. I think Anime Me or something like that. The King's Avatar is one of the best gaming animations out there, but it was actually free to watch on YouTube, but they removed it. Tencent removed it for some reason. Instead of just letting it on YouTube and get money from ads, now they fucking remove it, so they force players to buy their subscription, whatever they have, right? Which is, I think, a very wrong move. But the King's Avatar is great, but there's only, I think, 1 or 2 sites when you can still watch it. Not sure how it's called. Let's see, maybe this one. Yeah, you can actually still watch it on 9 Anime and some other sites. It's really good, okay, I highly suggest watching it. As a developer, as a gamer, not only gonna love it, but you can learn so much from it, right? They're so innovative. They have voice chat, like New World. They have server announcements. So every time a boss is killed first time, or every time there is a new best time for a boss set, it's announced on the server. So you get this huge competition, this huge feeling of community, of world that's actually being alive, and you can connect it with virtual and real world, right? You can learn this animation is simply one of the best animations when it comes to gaming and competition and esports, right? And we see this problem in like most you know, Dota and League of Legends. They remove so many fun game modes, right? Because oh, that will somehow divide the player base, when in reality it will attract so many players back to the game, right? And all you have to do, you put it in the match of the day rotation, right? For weekends or each second or third week, you can rotate a new game mode, right? And when it comes to Outpost Rush in New World, right, they only have one map, right? Why not add 3 or 4 maps into the rotation? So when you queue up for Outpost Rush, for this, you know, you get one of those maps. You're not dividing the community, you're just giving players more options, right? And this is like, I think, the biggest problem with most MOBA and MMORPG studios. They're simply outdated, right? They think that, you know, having more fun game modes will divide the community somehow, instead of adding in more players, right? They still think that only Conquest or Dota is competitive game mode, which is so outdated thinking, right? And then when you realize all these guys, then you know, they complain. The only time they complain about divided community is when somebody mention, you know, rank functionality for arena, or adding more fun game modes for weekends that attract players, right? But then you realize they have divided community on every corner. Most esports are totally gatekept because it's a huge business, divided. You have Europe versus Conquest players, Europe versus North America players, right? You have Arena versus Conquest. For example, Hirez Studios. Every game they make has divided ranked community, right? This is the biggest problem of Hirez, right? You have Conquest versus Arena in Smite. You have Strikeout versus Domination in Rogue Company. You have Paladin, you have Deathmatch versus Siege in Paladins, and so on and so on. You have divided community where only one game mode is considered competitive. Why not make leaderboards for both and attract so many players back to the game? There's so many players who love Arena in Conquest, and if Hirez won't force players into Conquest that wanna be ranked, right? Imagine me trying to be ranked in MOBA in competitive game, right? Arena would be easily the most popular game mode, but they're literally forcing players into Conquest if they wanna ever be considered ranked or good players in Smite. And this also further divide the community. It makes you think like, wow, Arena has no ranked functionality, this game mode must be for noobs. So we have this divided community where Conquest players have been talking down on Arena players for years, even though in some senses it's even more competitive than Conquest, because there is no snowball or number advantage, it's just how you play and how you build, right? And this is the biggest problem of MOBA studios. And don't even get me on how gatekept most esports are, right? It's just a huge business. Players don't even earn their spots, they literally get handpicked by the companies. So you don't have true competition anymore. You just have a bunch of, we have the same 15 players 5 years in a row that gatekeep everyone else, because they're not only do they get paid, they literally get salaries from companies. They also get insane money from sponsors and from YouTube. There are players who get more views on YouTube in 1 year than most content creators get in 5, because people think they're one of the best because they're on this SPL Pro League, right? In reality, it's just a huge business when people gatekeep everyone else because they're too busy making money, and that's the biggest issue of esports.